Hello everybody. As you can see, I'm out here porch chilling once again. I got my cigar, I got a cocktail. I've been reading a little Shannon Mustafa Tiki book, just finishing up that. And all of this means this must be another episode of Inside the Mug, episode number 9. Off screen, my co-host is chilling with me, Stella, the dog, and Midnight, the cat, on either side of me over here. The fact, I should show this on camera because they never are able to be in the same area together. But look, see, there's Stella just chilling over there, and then there's Mitty chilling over there by the palm tree because she's a tropical cat, just like her cat dad. All right, so this episode of Inside the Mug, we like to talk about the last episode of Pod Tiki. The last episode of Pod Tiki was the Wray Ting. It's a pretty straightforward cocktail. It's not a lot to talk about it. The reason why I picked it was because I just had, we had a, of course I picked it before this happened, but much love and, prayers going out to people in Florida right now dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. But it's funny because when I went to Jamaica was during Hurricane Irma, and you can hear all about the story if you listen to the podcast. But, the island was perfect. It actually went right over us and didn't affect the island whatsoever. But we couldn't get back home. We were stuck on the island, which actually worked out being great. But that was the first time I was introduced to Wray and Nephew Overproof Jamaican rum, and it's really the only overproof rum that I am a fan of. I like the flavor of it. Usually overproof rums for me, they're an addition to a cocktail, or I've said it a million times. I'll say it again for those of you who are just joining in. I like this when I'm going to sit down and have a drink. I'm probably going to have more than one. Also, I don't want one drink to get me wasted. And overproof rum, I just don't get it. My theory is that it's a fad, like big bold hops used to be in the craft beer world. Remember, years ago, 5 years ago, when everything was like triple hopped, IPA this, IPA that, double IPAs. I don't want to taste anything for 3 days. I'm just gonna drink this triple IPA. Like that's not good. It's not good. You're blowing your taste buds out. You're not gonna be able to taste any nuance in anything. So, and now what's happening? Now, and I know I've told this story before too. I use this analogy a lot. But now what's happening? You go to your local breweries, you're seeing more pale ales, lagers, your standard, everyday drinking drinks. Like, there's a time and a place for those cocktails, for those drinks, right? Like wintertime is coming. We're gonna want all those porters and stouts and things like that. That's great. That's awesome. But you're not sitting there and drinking IPAs all day, every day. And same thing with overproof rum. Like, it's a pissing contest is all it is. It's like, oh, this is delicious. This is awesome. This has got so much spice. No, it's not spice. It's fucking alcohol. You're drinking straight alcohol, and it's enhanced, because of this distillation with the aging process. But I just don't get it, man. I don't get the idea of like why that's so appealing to people to get hammered off of 1 or 2 drinks. But I digress. That's the reason why I am not drinking a Wray Ting right now. I'm smoking a La Galera Habano Churchill. I'm drinking a little Hamilton Demerara, not the overproof, the regular. It comes in at 43%. It's perfect. Also a great mix for cigars. I used to think that, of course there's a big truck going by as I start recording, but I used to think that a strong drink would overpower a lighter cigar. I've realized now that sometimes you want that juxtaposition and flavor to it kind of adds to it. I digress again. So, the only really overproof rum that I am a big fan of is the Wray Ting, or the Wray and Nephew. Maybe it's because I have a personal memory tied to it, a sensory memory from being in Jamaica and drinking it with my buddy in a rum shack and on the beach and all that. And then you pair it with the Ting, and it's just, man, Ting is so much better than. And I swear by Jarritos. I love Jarritos. It's a great soda. I love the fact that they use real cane sugar, but that Caribbean grapefruit that they use in the Wray Ting, I mean, you can actually see the pulp floating in it, which I'm not usually a big fan of pulp, but it's only a little bit. That really does make a difference. But still, even Coke, like you can mix a Wray and Nephew with a Mexican Coke, and it's just amazing. The flavor, we look at a Cuba Libre or a rum and Coke. It's like your college order, right? It's what you go to the bar and order when you don't know what to order. I mean, rum and Coke, something like that. But the actual flavor of the cola nut is a real flavor. It's a good flavor. And if you get a Mexican Coke that's made with real cane sugar and not high fructose, then all they're doing is mixing the cocktail ahead of time for you, the same way that you would pre-batch, your orgeat and your lime juice and you might maybe not your lime juice, but you might pre-batch like your orgeat syrup and your orange curacao, and then you might mix some rums together, and then this way when you make your Mai Tais, you only got to put 3 things in instead of 5. It's the same kind of thing. If you use a Coca-Cola that's made with real sugar, you're taking the flavor of the cola nut, sort of with a simple syrup added to it, and you're carbonating it. You're making yourself a little punch recipe without having to add all the ingredients in. And when you pair that flavor with a dark rum, like a Jamaican rum or something, it really complements the cola nut, or the cola nut complements the rum. It's those two flavors, they just go together for me, man. More so with a dark Jamaican than even with a lighter Cuban rum, like a Cuba Libre. So, there's not really much to say about that, except it just seems to be highball season. After a summer of mixing cocktails, I kind of get bored with having to put 4 or 5 ingredients into a drink. Your standard highball for chilling is just, I don't want to put too much work in. The weather's changing. It's not really, it's getting a little cooler here in Tennessee. It's not really conducive to like your summery drinks, but I also don't want to switch over into my winter drinks just yet. So it's like, it's that weird time of year. It's like when you swap your clothes over, right? It's like you can't really wear shorts and a Hawaiian shirt right now, but you're not ready to throw a sweater on. So you break out the polo and your long pants, your khakis or something, and you kind of do it that way. It's a transition. And highballs, I think, are a nice standard go-to transition drink, and I think the Caribbean does them right. They do them right, man. The Wray and Ting, Wray and Coke, they know how to do it. So, last thing I want to get to, I mean, I can go into personal stories about that trip to Jamaica. I talk all about it at length, probably to nauseum, in the multiple podcasts. Go back and listen to the podcast. That's where I really want you guys to go. But as far as any inside the mug, behind the scenes information, it was really, let me see, there was something cool about, maybe give a little bit more in depth up to that experience where I first had it. We were walking away from the actual town of Montego, and you stay in Montego Bay. For those of you who haven't been there, we stayed right at Doctor's Cove, I think it's Doctor's Cave Beach. It's like right in the center. You're like right by the beach right there. There's the bay. You walk down to, if you come out of the hotel and you're looking at the ocean, you go to your left, there's the strip, right? There's like, you got your Margaritaville, you got your other bars, and it's not really like a touristy strip. It is a touristy strip, but you're not gonna find your cruise ship bars there. Like, you're staying on the island. Like, the hotel we were at was like an open air lounge in the not the basement, in the why am I having a brain fart? I haven't had any Wray and Ting yet. The lobby. In the lobby was open air, very tropical, very kind of lazy Jamaica, very reminiscent of like the things you read about like back in the 50s. There was even the bar was like half inside and half open air with the lanai or the veranda out there. with the pool. It was real nice, and then right over that's the ocean. And so to the left is your kind of like your strip, and then if you keep going to the left and you make a little bit more of a left, that's the actual town of Montego Bay. And then if you go to your left, but then you make a right along curving with the bay, there's like a cool little restaurant down there. I think it was called Pier 1 or something like that. Man, we sat there the first night we were there, and we had some, I think we had something like jerk chicken or jerk steak or something, and just drank, I think we actually drank rum and cokes. Jamaica, there's probably Appleton and cokes, and you just watch the bay, the mountainside comes down to a point into the bay, and there's like palm trees sticking up, and it's all purple skies, and it's reflecting onto the bay. It's freaking amazing. But if you come out of the hotel, which we had like a 3rd floor room, and you open the bay windows, and there's like the queen palms, those Caribbean palms that have the green tube up top, and then the plumage comes out of that. Really tropical looking, like really full plumage, like lazy tropical breeze blowing. And then you walk down there's like a little market, a little touristy market, and then you get past that, and then you're just walking down this neighborhood road that follows the water. And there's, the water's kind of splashing up, and it splashes a little bit, but it's kind of lazy. It's really calm out there. So we just kept on walking. We just kept on walking to see where it led, and it led to this little beach shack, this little rum shack, and there was like 3 or 4 guys in there just leaning up against the bar, all lazily, all listlessly, and that's where we first encountered the Wray and Nephew, and it was an everyday, the Wray and Ting or the Wray and Coke was just an everyday. You could tell it was just the guys that were just off of work, that were just kind of hanging out. Everything smelled like weed, and they were just sipping on their highballs and their rum and tings, and it was an amazing experience, a way to fall in love with the Wray and Ting. Just Wray and Nephew in general. In fact, the Wray and Nephew Coco Loco, the coconut rum, probably still the best coconut rum I've ever had. In fact, I wish I would have brought more of that back with me. But, luckily you can get the Wray and Ting here. Appleton is becoming very popular now. You can get that everywhere. So, that's that. That's the story behind that. That's how I found out about Wray and Ting. That's how I found out about Wray and Nephew. Been a fan ever since. And it's the funkiest, I think, as far as the light rums go. And it's funny because when it comes to Jamaican sipping rums, or even like Appleton, great rums, but I really prefer like the 12-year until it starts getting like a little bit darker and more caramelized and everything. The 8-year is pretty good, but the regular Appleton signature it's a good rum, but I don't think it's funky enough. Appleton to me is just not really that funky. It's a blended, so they kind of blend some of the funk out. But then when you get to your black blendeds, like your Karuba or your Myers, like I feel like there's enough of the pot still in there to still give it that funkiness, and then the extra molasses and the dunder kind of add to it. They're almost funkier than the regular Jamaican rums. But of course, if you want to get the funkiest of the funkiest, you got to go straight up pot still. I'm talking Hamilton pot still gold, or pot still black, pot still gold, Smith and Cross. Of course, those are all some of my favorite brands. Unfortunately, I can't find the Hamilton pot still black around me, so if anybody wants to send me some, little dry bag there. I think that's all I got to say about the Wray and Ting. I hope you guys liked the episode. Still deciding what to do next. What's gonna happen next? There's I'm looking for something that's kind of fall, kind of autumn-like. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna go tiki or if I'm gonna maybe go into a cocktail. We hit some pretty good tiki drinks, some standards this summer, so looking forward to what the fall brings. Last thing I want to touch on before we leave is, since I last talked to you, we hit 500 subscribers on our Instagram page for Pod Tiki. I know that doesn't seem like a lot when there's people out there that have millions, but I said it when I hit 400, and I'll say it now at 500. I cannot thank you all enough for subscribing, for following, and I cannot believe that 500 people give a shit about what I'm talking about, care about this. I cannot wait for what the future holds. I think we're at 29 subscribers on the YouTube channel, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I want more. I want to grow this thing. I'm happy with everybody that we have, but if we get like another 20 subscribers on YouTube, I can start going live, which would be super awesome. I might even switch these to the YouTube channel. I mean, to a live YouTube. Yeah, but that's all for that. I cannot thank you guys enough. Please continue to follow. Please continue to spread the word, share it. I mean, as much as the social media does for me, the best way to spread it is just by talking amongst yourselves and sharing it. Please share it. Please keep commenting, and I try to get back to everybody. I'm sorry I don't see all the comments all the time right away. I'm really bad about checking my email and stuff, so when the comments come through, sometimes I don't see them for a couple of days, but I try to get back to everybody, or at least let everybody know that I saw them. Looking forward to maybe getting some merch out this year. I was looking forward to doing that last year, but some other projects came up outside of Podtiki. A couple of music projects came out, which I'm excited to share with you guys probably in the next 6 weeks. You know, some reggae style, I don't know, maybe you guys are just tuning in, you don't know this, but I came to Nashville to do songwriting stuff, and I'll probably do an Inside the Mug on the music when it comes out. There's a cool story behind how I got involved with that. But there's some islandy music coming out from Podtiki soon, written and by myself. So looking forward to that. And if you guys have any ideas about what you might want from merch, like what's a cool idea that the other people aren't doing that we need, right? Like, I mean, you got straw hats, you got beach bags, like totes and stuff. Everybody does t-shirts. You know, I was thinking about tank tops. But I don't know. Give me some ideas of stuff that you might want to see merch-wise. And if I can get it high quality, I'll try to do it. My biggest thing with putting out merch, especially t-shirts and stuff like that, is I want it to be something people are going to wear. We all know what it was like in the 90s and 2000s when you got that free handout t-shirt and it was stiff as a board and it was cut to, I don't know, it looked like like the sleeves were sticking out like a T on the side every time you wore it, and it wasn't comfortable. Like, I want to get something that people is actually going to wear and I'm going to be proud of wearing. It's going to be a cool design, stuff like that. I'm already really proud of my logo, but I'm thinking about doing some other designs on shirts. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, just let me know what you guys might be interested in buying. Maybe some artwork with a logo on it, some prints or something like that. I don't know. I mean, eventually, a tiki mug of my logo would be the epitome. That's what I aspire to be someday, is to have my own tiki mug with my logo on it. But, you know, maybe some Mai Tai glasses, maybe some cocktail glasses, whatever you guys are into. Let me know. Holla at your boy. And also any cocktail ideas, anything you got for future episodes. I know I've got a couple of suggestions about doing tiki establishments. And, you know, we already did the Margaritaville a few months back. And I have a couple in mind. I'm saving them for the winter months because when things start getting hectic around the holidays and we're traveling, or maybe I don't have the time to write and record a full episode with tastings and things like that. You know, you're spending a lot of money around the holidays. Money sometimes maybe I don't have the allowance for as many to make as many cocktails, to stock up on supplies. So in those cases, that'll be the time, I think, well, I'm going to really dive into some of these local tiki haunts, you know, some of our tiki temples, maybe the luau, maybe you know, Kontiki, maybe, you know, just the Mai Kai, something like that. So I'm looking forward to doing that kind of stuff, and all these kind of little ones around the country that we don't really know about, that maybe aren't destinations, but you know, there's all kinds, you know. In fact, there's some that are open now that I'm hoping I can still get a hold of, you know, Max's, you know, 3 Dots, all that stuff. So hoping to get in with that in the future and get some more interviews locked down. The holidays, the winter months is usually good for doing interviews because it's you know, it's interesting, and it takes a little bit less of time for me when I'm not researching and writing episodes. So I could do it in between traveling and buying gifts and going to holiday parties and things like that. So, until next time, please follow Pod Tiki on Spotify, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can always find all the episodes at podtiki.com, as well as our recipe index, where you can find all the recipes we talk about. You can follow us on YouTube. Please, please, please follow Pod Tiki on YouTube. And keep on following us on Instagram. That's pod_tiki. Or you can follow my personal page at rum_poet. And yeah, we're just going to keep on doing it, keep on growing it. I can't believe 115 more people. I think we're at 515 now. 115 more people followed since in the past year, and I just cannot believe it keeps growing. And just thank you so much, guys, and keep it tiki out there, and be safe out there if you're in an area that's got some storms. So, all right, guys, I'll see you next time.